Happy Tuesday morning. Welcome to Coffee and Tequila with your hosts, Zachary. I was trying to do like a news anchor or something like that. Zachary Patton-Garcia.
And Alastair, Patton-Garcia. Coming to you.
Live.
Not really.
Post-live.
Post-live.
Here at AZB Bonus Features, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
Are we in Apple Podcast now?
Not quite yet. We have a couple issues with that, so we're trying to figure that out. But yes, Tuesday morning. Happy Tuesday morning, everybody. Hope your week is starting off all right.
Yeah,
we're going to be covering the fourth episode of Mare of Easttown towards the end of the of this episode. That'll be like a spoiler discussion, so we'll give you a quick heads up. And then we got a couple more topics to go into, I guess, tonight.
just a couple, and then some banter, obviously.
Some banter.
Yes, and my husband was showing people his nudes.
Are you really bringing this up right now?
I am exposing you. He did you did an episode for My Nudie Judy.
Yeah.
With an expert in nude photography.
Yes, Fwee Carter. So an episode of My Nudie Judy. That is a show that I do with my buddy Ian, and we both got one. Like two nudes that we both had, and
tasteful.
This was like he's like a nude body photographer, and so he was giving us critiques on like how to shoot nudes and what you would do differently and stuff like that. And so I didn't know we were going to be talking about this one right here. This is the morning show.
Well, you should have gotten full marks. Full marks, I would say.
Okay.
But I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool. And then today I tried for like the first time in a while.
Yeah.
To film an episode of Alastair Reviews It and do all of my do a huge like book haul, and because I had so many books and I had lost a lot of the footage and a lot of the packing stuff I had from like other books that were sent to me.
Yeah, because people have been sending you books. And
they've been sending me books, and I wanted to do the due diligence, but now that I'm looking over there, I see, I think, 4 books that I didn't haul.
Oh, jeez. Come on, man.
And it was a lot of books.
Come on, man.
I should probably
sorry,
count them.
y'all.
I know.
Alastair reviews
problems.
that'll be back up soon, though. You can got to get back into that soon.
Yeah. I just took a tiny break when I got promoted, and Zachary was taking a break, and I kind of like I'm sorry, like I took advantage of it.
He piggybacks off me all the time.
I took advantage of it, and I spent time with him.
No, we had a really nice break together.
Yeah, because I think usually we work like all day, so it was nice to have like a little time.
Yeah, I mean, now we're back into it. We got the morning show going. We got normal videos on YouTube. You're about to start YouTube back up, so we're all full throttle again. So
yes. Going into the 4th of July weekend.
Oh my gosh, my liver's gonna suck. I think I've been drinking way too much, a lot more than I wanted
typically
to.
do.
Yeah. I was so good recently, and I've kind of been backsliding a little bit, and so I've been drinking a little bit more, and I'd like to step forward a little bit again.
It isn't
kind of correct to
even
that.
Backsliding. Like Zachary only drinks on holidays and really just holiday weekends.
I don't know if I agree with that though.
I would agree with that. The last like 3 weekends have been like holiday. Like I would consider the Pride weekend. We just went through a holiday one as well, and this next one is going to be 4th of July. So like, I would say cut yourself a little slack. You don't even drink during the week.
I think the problem with having company and starting to be social again is, yes, I have been drinking a little bit more during the week. When people are over, I've been drinking and stuff. So I don't know how we're getting onto this. We have a couple of topics for you all today.
Yes.
I guess we'll go ahead and start with Jamie Lynn Spears, right? So we're going to be covering conservatorship talk here and kind of bigger news on the conservatorship and some smaller news on the conservatorship sometimes. And so this is, I guess, medium news. I don't know what this would be, but so Jamie Lynn Spears is Britney Spears' younger sister. For anybody who doesn't know, they have a 10-year age difference. Jamie Lynn Spears is 10 years younger, and when Britney was at the height of her fame, she was always talking about little Jamie Lynn, always, just in love with little Jamie Lynn. Loved Jamie Lynn, loved her mother. Anytime she would do interviews, like the production team would get like like video messages from Jamie Lynn Spears or like her mother, and like anytime they played those in front of Britney, Britney would start crying because she just loved her sister and her mother so much. She always loved little Jamie Lynn Spears, and then Jamie Lynn Spears kind of turned into a Nickelodeon star. She was on all that. Zoe 101, which I grew up watching those, and so, you know, I fucking love Jamie Lynn Spears too because this was Britney Spears' little sister. And she kind of like carved out a little bit of her own name, you know, as this young child star. And there was a difference between them. So Britney was the superstar, and Jamie Lynn was like the up and comer. She probably could have had something better. She probably could have. I don't know how her career would have gone, but like she did end up getting pregnant, like 16 years old. That was a pretty big deal at the time.
Wasn't it 17, or did she have the baby while she was 17?
I think it was. She was probably 17 when she had the baby, but she was, or maybe she was 17 when she got pregnant. I don't know.
Maybe.
I think, but she got pregnant when she was a teenager. And this was around the same time as like Britney going through all of her stuff, and so it was a lot. There was a lot of scrutiny on the Spears family as a whole. And I remember Jamie Lynn. I remember being so shocked that little Jamie Lynn was pregnant. I was like, "What? This is insane!" I think this was around the same time that Bristol Palin had, you know, just had a baby as a teenager as well. And
teen pregnancy was big. I mean, teen pregnancy is always big, but teen pregnancy was like at a point where like you would have like the Teen Mom shows, and then you had like The Secret Life of American Teenager. And
it was like a hot thing at the moment.
Yeah.
It was weirdly like glamorized in media. But Jamie Lynn, I always thought she did like a really good thing. I mean, like, here's the thing: is like as a teenage mother, there's nothing saying that you can't keep working and stuff like that. But Jamie Lynn thought it was best for herself to kind of go away for a little bit and get herself a little piece of land and raise her daughter and just kind of be away from the public scrutiny. And so she went and did that. Meanwhile, on the other end, her sister is getting put under a conservatorship. And, you know, so I think a lot. So today, okay, kind of coming back into what we're talking about. Today, Jamie Lynn Spears spoke out about the conservatorship for the first time, like almost ever. The Jamie Lynn Spears does not talk about the conservatorship. The family didn't really talk about the conservatorship. Not too long ago, Brian Spears did like an interview talking about it and said that Britney's always wanted out of the conservatorship, but today is the first time Jamie Lynn has brought it up. And so Jamie Lynn was like, I don't know, a lot of people have like a lot of mixed reactions to this. A lot of people are very, very angry still. Jamie Lynn and the whole Spears family as a collective are kind of receiving a lot of scrutiny right now, a lot of hate because of Britney's court testimony and the fact that she didn't really point out specific family members and really just referred to her family as a whole. And so a lot of people are pointing out that, you know, Jamie Lynn and Lynn and Jamie and Brian, none of them tried to help Britney during this conservatorship, and that, you know, Jamie Lynn has had 13 years to kind of speak out about this conservatorship in defense of her sister and hadn't done that. And so Jamie Lynn comes on her Instagram story today, and she makes a long-ass Instagram story where she's talking about, I have always, you know, I've been my sister's number one supporter, and I'm her, you know, I love my sister, and I just want my sister to be happy, and whatever my sister wants is what I want. It doesn't make any difference to me, and, you know, really trying to defend herself. And I don't know, I'm thinking it's looking like it's backfiring a little bit.
It is, because like the way she would put things, and I don't want to misconstrue her words or whatever, so please listen to what she said.
Yeah.
But the way she I felt like I got from it was that it was, Britney can do whatever she wants. She can go to Mars. She can, you know, end her conservatorship. You know, any silly thing she wants.
If she
you know,
wants
like all those crazy things.
If
she wants to do that,
end her conservatorship, I don't care. It doesn't make me any different.
If she goes to Mars, I don't care. It was like, no, it's not like.
I think what people are so angry about is that she should care, right? She should care what's happening with her sister. She should be like, no, I want my sister out of this if my sister wants out of this. And so Jamie Lynn's like, I've never spoken up because my sister's never spoken up about it. And now that my sister's spoken up about it, I'm going to speak up about it. And like, I get it. I totally see all of the criticisms, though, is that Jamie Lynn really has sat back and kind of benefited from a lot of this. And she says, like, I don't know. She says,
she pays her own bills.
She pays her own bills. She said, I pay my own bills. And she said, I've been working since I was 9 years old, paying my own bills since I was 10. And
Which might be true, but you can't deny
I don't know how
the privilege you get
Zoe
from being a
101
Spears.
money is like going. But yes, being a Spears, being Britney Spears' little sister, yeah, definitely got her a lot of perks in life. And the fact that she like, I don't know, she's just fine in life.
Which isn't something to be ashamed of. It's never
No.
something to be ashamed of. I don't think. It's just something to also recognize.
But I also think that it's like, and she doesn't owe anybody anything in the public. Like none of these people owe in the public any statements. They really don't. But here's the thing: is like this family has had 13 years to kind of come to Britney's defense and kind of try to get her out of this, and nobody has done that. Nobody has done that. And so while Jamie is sitting on her story saying, I have been supportive of my sister privately. I don't have to do it publicly. A hashtag. I'll be here long after a hashtag. Well, it's the public scrutiny and it's the public, media wildfire that is going to get, mark my words, that is going to get Britney out of this. The wheels are only moving because a Free Britney movement even came about, Like, her ass would have been stuck in this it has been referred to as a lifetime conservatorship. That's what they were going for. And you know what, little Jamie Lynn, had you been the more famous sister, I feel like you'd probably been at risk for the same thing,
Mm-hmm. The Lou Taylor of it all.
And that's the thing, is like a lot of people are criticizing Jamie Lynn for like she's seemingly having a friendship with Lou M. Taylor. Lou M. Taylor, by the way, is very instrumental in this whole conservatorship even coming about. And so like people are just pissed that it seems like she has not really done anything. And then Britney says in her court testimony that it's just her whole family that she's pissed at. And so maybe she'll come out and she'll say, hey, y'all need to leave my sister alone. And if she does, people need to listen because, listen, I understand the criticisms here, and I understand why people are so mad at Jamie Lynn and stuff like that, but people also need to remember to rein it in a little bit, right? You'd never want somebody to do something to themselves or to like be pushed to a certain point from bullying, anything like that. Keep in mind, Jamie Lynn has 2 daughters. Jamie Lynn is, we don't know how she seems like a pretty tough girl, but we don't know how like this stuff is affecting her.
In our first episode, we talked about the mob mentality, especially when it comes to Twitter and stuff. I do think that the mob mentality has its place and can get things
done
happening.
Well, that's what the Free Britney thing is too.
Yes, definitely. But it also has its negatives, where you don't want to like push somebody on the complete other side.
Yeah,
and there's never going to be a perfect way to do anything. And at this point, it's just I think people see her and they see what she hasn't been doing, and I get
that she's benefited so much from this and hasn't done a damn thing, and it looks like she's more comfortable with benefiting from something.
Yes, well, it's also like right now, Britney Spears, I can kind of see how her sister can look at her and be like, oh, her life is super structured. Mm-hmm. She gets whatever she wants. She gets her meals if she needs meals. If she needs to work, she gets this. She gets to see her child. But they don't see the actual like restrictions. I went to that school and it was super structured. I couldn't vary this way and that way.
That school. It's like the place we do not discuss.
I don't want to say it, but like you don't have like your freedoms are restricted. But the thing is, like, I knew that my freedoms were going to be restricted going there. Like I knew that it was going to be a 4-year thing. My freedoms were going to be extremely restricted, and after that, I would have like a lot more freedoms.
And you chose that.
Yeah, I chose that. For Britney, she didn't choose that. Mm-hmm. For her, like they're controlling parts of her life that shouldn't be controlled, and for her, there is no end in sight.
Yeah, there's people are just pissed that, I guess members of her family can go in and kind of petition for it to end, and like somebody can petition on Britney's behalf, and like we don't know we really don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so we don't know if anybody's doing that or if anybody's trying to do that or having talks about doing that. I think people are just like throwing a lot of anger out there, and I get it. And Jamie Lynn, there's like a point where she's like wiping away a tear.
That doesn't exist.
There's no fucking.
Speaking of wiping away a tear,
I know I got eye boogers, but there's no fucking tear in her eye when she's wiping it away. But it's just like I see people's annoyance, but also I just caution, be a little careful. You know,
I don't know.
Don't
also
push
get a
anybody.
PR person to look over your stuff before you submit it. I don't know.
It's just
Get flag on your case.
I don't know. At this point, like, there's no excuses for not supporting her. And I do hope her family is supporting. I hope her mother's trying to support. I hope her mother, her sister, anybody are whether they've done wrong in the past or not, from here on out will support her and will do the right thing. Just do the right thing at this point. You know, get her out of this. It's.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where this,
because I know that Jamie
where we go
and
from
Britney
there.
were always like really close. For a long time, they were really close, and we don't know if they're still like that or not. But they were always really close. And there's like when Britney was going through her all of her troubles, like there's a video of like Jamie, like some woman like chasing Britney around and saying, "Get out of this neighborhood. We don't want you in this neighborhood." Like really harassing her. Meanwhile, they've got 50 fucking paparazzi on them. And then Jamie Lynn Spears like stops and turns around. They just like come out of a Starbucks and looks in the lady's face like this close and like says, "Well, then move the fuck out." And like it's like crazy. It was crazy. And Jamie Lynn went through this with Britney. So I understand that maybe even Jamie Lynn would like feel a certain type of way and be like, "Hey, I have defended my sister when everybody else was ganging up on my sister. I was defending my sister, and now other people are kind of like, I don't know. People are. I don't, there's a lot. There's a lot here.
I don't know. Her statement,
a lot more nuanced.
I think left a lot to be desired, but at the same time,
it felt more defensive than supportive.
I don't know her situation at all, and in a lot of ways, she's living Britney's ideal life.
Yeah,
like completely. And I don't know. But that's what I have to say about it.
There is one statement I kind of want to read out loud. Sorry, we're on a lot of Britney stuff. That was a naked man, Alastair. What are you looking at a naked man like that for?
Okay.
Christina Aguilera put out a statement about it.
Really?
Yeah. She says, "These past few days, I've been thinking about Britney and everything she is going through. It is unacceptable that any woman or human wanting to be in control of their own destiny might not be allowed to live life as they wish. To be silenced, ignored, bullied, or denied support by those close to you is the most depleting, devastating, and demeaning thing unimaginable. The harmful mental and emotional damage this can take on a human spirit is nothing to be taken lightly. Every woman must have the right to her own body, her own reproductive system, her own privacy, her own space, her own healing, and her own happiness. While I am not behind closed doors of this very layered and personal yet public conversation, all I can do is share from my heart on what I've heard, read, and seen in the media. The conviction and desperation of this plea for freedom leads me to believe that this person I once knew has been living without compassion or decency from those in control. To a woman who has worked under conditions and pressure unimaginable to most, I promise you she deserves all of the freedom possible to live her happiest life. My heart goes out to Britney. She deserves all the true love and support in the world." This warmed my heart.
That was a great statement.
I have to say, I talk about like not judging people. Are you crying, baby?
I am.
Oh,
not,
baby, you're
I
crying.
don't cry.
It is. Britney and Christina were in the Mickey Mouse Club together. They met when they were kids, like 14 years old or so, and they were in the Mickey Mouse Club together. And then they both went on, along with like Justin Timberlake and Ryan Gosling, to become like superstars, right?
Rachel McAdams.
And even at this, Rachel McAdams was not.
Oh, she wasn't
Mouse
in
Club.
there.
No,
Who am I
no.
thinking of? Oh gosh. Oh.
Is it Carey Mulligan? No, not Carey Mulligan. It's Felicity. Who?
That's not her name. That's the show she's in.
It's Felicity. Felicity.
Why did I say Rachel McAdams? I think I was been thinking about
her
Notebook too much.
But it's so they kind of were like a pair in the Mickey Mouse Club, and then like all of these like teenagers, especially Britney, Christina, and Justin, became these like superstars so young, like these huge music superstars. And it was for a long time Britney versus Christina, and Christina looked at it as like the anti-Britney, or like, always
They would pit them against each other.
they put a lot of pressure on Christina to be like Britney, and so I think Christina for a long time was retaliating against that and kind of maybe throwing subtle digs and subtle shade at Britney, and kind of like it was
invited. That was all super
I will
invited.
reiterate that it was very cool at the time to be the anti-Britney. Avril Lavigne always said she would never be like a Britney Spears. Like even Pink, I don't think Pink's always all that bad, but in that song she was like, I'll never be Britney. She's so pretty, that just ain't me, or something like that. Like a lot of,
Which isn't
but I
a
don't think that was
dig.
bad. I'm not saying that was
Yeah.
bad. That wasn't a dig, but like it was always this comment that people had to sort of make that I'm not the Britney. I'm not Britney. I'm not Britney.
I'm cool.
And Christina was definitely like on the receiving end of a lot of like Britney comparisons and always being asked about Britney, and so it's no wonder she kind of got annoyed and kind of like rebelled against that. And but like for a long time, I don't know, it doesn't seem like they've ever been very close since then, and like kind of drifted apart. And like even Christina was kind of like, I don't know, her and Justin had this like friendship where they kind of both threw digs at Britney, and like one time they brought a blow up doll on stage and said it was Britney, and like just shitty things, they yeah, I don't know. But it is like they were all very, very young, kind of going through the same sort of pressures. They were all sort of the birds of one feather, and it's nice seeing all of them kind of removed from that by age, and Christina being able to look at this and see it from a whole different, hopefully she's seeing this from a whole different perspective and saying, this is a person I once knew. That's the line that got me, is this person I once knew has been living without compassion and decency from those in control. I have no doubt Christina Aguilera has been sitting at home thinking about Britney a lot and kind of probably going over it in her mind. And like, I don't know, she probably does.
I think a lot of them have. I think a lot of people have, honestly. And I've seen multiple articles talking about conservatorships and how there's like, I think it was like $5 billion or more like tied into conservatorships.
It's just crazy.
And
it's crazy.
How like a lot of people, like this is how like they get their estate taken. This is how Britney's like in the public eye, but there's a lot of people who this happens to.
Well, I mean, and so Amber, there's a lot of people who've come out and said, who've spoken out and like support of Britney, but Amber Tamlin is another actress. She was a child star, and she is like, she was a teenage star and stuff, and she put out like an open letter earlier and said basically like her dynamic with her parents, it's like it's really tough when you're making all the money that's like, paying for vacations and paying for dinners and like all of this stuff, and it's all coming from your pocket. And she like detailed that it was like even really awkward that she would have to go to her parents and ask for money that she was making, or that like when they started to like disentangle their lives and professionally and privately, it was like a really awkward situation and stuff. She does go on to say that her parents are very supportive of her and stuff like that, and they have a good relationship, but like that dynamic of the child making all of the money and parents kind of taking that and living off of that, and families living off of these people,
which we kind of talked about with Chris a little bit.
Yes.
But I think Chris is almost a different situation where like Chris brings.
No, that's not even the same thing. They're not even in the same conversation. No.
I know, but that's the kind of question that was phrased to her.
Okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah. I think it's just like
she's not Macaulay Culkin's parents.
Yeah, but you think of like all of these like young stars who are like, I don't know, like people like Britney, like she was supporting her whole family, and you think Christina, I'm sure Christina was too, like her supporting her mother, and then Amber Tamlin, and like
I think I said Kris Kardashian, I meant Kris Jenner.
It's just I don't know, it's a really sticky situation, and Amber Tamlin was talking about it, and she said I could totally see how those dynamics would get muddied, and something like this could happen. And so I think it's crazy that a lot of this, there's a lot of conversation being started around this. So we'll kind of, without going, I talked way too long about this topic than I was going to. But yeah, it's something I would like to cover a little bit more often too, just as things kind of come out.
On my side, the only thing I have is the Disney Plus changed the ending sequence of WandaVision.
Oh, yeah, that's been in the news.
Yeah, and now there's like a blurry figure that's very obvious. Not if you're looking at it on like screen grabs, but if you watch it, it's very obvious, and it's like a figure that's floating down and into the back of
The cabin.
Wanda's cabin, and I'm really curious as to. Sorry, this has anything to do with.
You were burping a lot through this. What do you?
That was my first burp.
No, you did one earlier.
No,
Did you not?
No.
Oh, is your belly upset?
No, I just burped
okay.
once.
Okay.
Excuse me. I apologize. So I'm curious as to whether this is gonna like be like a really like subtle introduction into the multiverse of madness, or whether that's why they made that change, because they've had so much dialogue about the end of WandaVision, because people really liked it, but they want to hate it so much. They want to hate WandaVision so much, and one of the things that came out of this is like, hey, originally, Doctor Strange was supposed to be in it, but then I guess there were scheduling conflicts, but also the story. The director was like, Wanda doesn't need a man for like the end of her like story, her transition period, and it would have sent like a weird message. And I think that honestly, like, giving concessions to what they had to do for COVID, and giving concessions to the fact that they couldn't get all the actors to finish out all their parts that they kept on saying, I think it was a pretty good ending. And I almost wish they wouldn't have done this whole publicity thing about like saying what the ending was going to be, because now everybody just hates. It seems like everybody just hates the show.
It got a lot of backlash for being a little bit lackluster, and it did feel a little bit lackluster. It felt like there was a lot of parts missing from it, and apparently there were scenes shot or scripted that were supposed to be in there as well, that weren't in there. And I think those would have made it a little bit more full, but like we got what we got. That's the thing. I don't know how I feel about people like. I mean, I guess they can do whatever the hell they want, but like people going back and like editing new stuff into it. I don't know if I'm like a fan of that,
I don't know. I think something subtle like this, that's fine. Or like,
like
with Game of Thrones taking out the Starbucks cup. So like,
do y'all remember when Game of Thrones had a fucking Starbucks cup in it?
They just did not care
all
that season.
The jokes of like Daenerys Targaryen, but like, what's the point of something like this? Of some of them editing new kind of footage in there that's so subtle that like people might not even watch. Like, and it's crazy that people even caught it at the end, right?
Well, because people are crazy looking for Easter eggs. They are crazy looking for Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Like, this is the first time with Falcon and Winter Soldier I watched people's like breakdowns, like going into like every single part of it. With Loki, I'm just letting myself enjoy it. I'm not going into these Easter egg things. There's no Mephisto.
I don't know.
We thought there was a Mephisto in Mare. Who knows? Maybe there is a Mephisto.
Jamie Lee Mephisto.
Yeah. Mephisto everywhere, apparently. So I remember they even had like a little stained glass window. They're like, "Do you think that might be Mephisto?"
You know what though? I looked at all that shit in WandaVision. I thought I was damn sure Mephisto was in that movie.
No, you were sure it wasn't Mephisto, and then we saw that video from Rockstars.
Another video,
and you're like, "Yes."
It's Mephisto.
You were like, "Yep, it's Mephisto.
He's here." It would have been really cool to have Mephisto in there.
I think it's really cool to speculate, and I have fun doing that. Mm-hmm. Like just talking about things. I love to speculate, especially about Buffy.
Well, you saw that kind
what a Faith,
that
thing would have been.
Dropped off for the latter seasons, like for Falcon, Winter Soldier, and now Loki. Like I don't see all of that much.
Yeah, you don't see that conversation.
It was, like, wild with WandaVision,
and I think it was Falcon and Winter Soldier that had the biggest premiere, but I actually think that's in light of WandaVision, because WandaVision got so big that when Falcon Winter Soldier came out, everybody was at the table, ready for it.
Yeah.
And I do believe WandaVision was the best.
Do you?
At least at this point. Who knows? Loki might change my mind.
You know what though? I wish it was a different character in Loki. But like I love the aesthetic of Loki. I'm like all into that.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. I think it's absolutely gorgeous.
Have we covered Loki the latest episode? We did that.
We
for
did,
a live
right?
episode.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. No,
Making
it's
me
like
doubt myself.
WandaVision was something so different for the MCU too that when it came out, it was just a whole new different
It was a
thing.
whole new vibe.
Yeah.
But like, I just don't. People like to hate things. I was
People
like,
love to hate things.
Like that's fine.
Thing is, like, just don't watch, man. Don't watch. I'm looking for his. Okay, Lane. We have a comment from Lane, who usually leaves comments on our videos. Love him. Lane Wright says, "I'm actually enjoying watching the two of you discuss a show that I probably will never watch."
Is that Loki?
I don't know if he watches Loki. He's referring to the Mare of Easttown. Lane, I think you should get into the Mare of Easttown because we're about to transition over to that part.
Yeah.
But I think you need to get into that. It's a very, very good show. But if you're not going to, he also says, so imagine how much I will enjoy it when you get back to Love Victor, which I have already watched. So we are going to finish Love Victor just for you.
Yes, we definitely want to finish Love Victor, and I think that I want to go back to Kevin Can F Himself as well.
I need some.
But
I need some time.
we might not cover it for this, but I definitely want to watch
My
it.
mom wants us to cover some more funny stuff. She thinks we're covering our stuff is too serious.
but
She
what-
wants us to cover like 90 Day Fiance.
Well, I'm sorry, we already saw the flight attendant.
Listen, if I could get him to watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta, like a full season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, we'll be on that.
Well, we're waiting for Love Island.
Yeah. You know what? We'll cover Love Island.
Love Island.
Go have a chat.
It's like the straightest show out there, but it's like really trashy straight.
Proper paid off.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So without further ado, we're going to get into the spoiler section of episode 4 of the Mare of Easttown, or Mare of Easttown. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Episode 4 of the Mare of Easttown.
Life of the party.
I liked it. I'm so into this show.
Well, I'm into
guys.
every
I'm
single episode.
so freaking into this show. Yeah.
It's like, oh gosh, like every single episode, it ends, and I just want more.
And Kate Winslet's just so good in it. I can't wait to reach the end of the season because I'm not looking up anything yet. I don't want to look up anything. I just want to like watch it, go through it, and then kind of look up everything that's going on outside of it and all the talk outside of it. Because I really want to know if it's supposed to be like a limited series or if it's gonna come back for another season.
Really hope. I don't know what I hope, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big fan of limited series. I'm not gonna lie.
I do, but when I have
am.
something like this, I want more. I want more characters.
Yes, but I feel like a series like this, like if you have too many seasons,
Yeah.
can get pretty ridiculous.
You got a little fuzz right there, baby. Oh, still got it. It's caught in your beard. You need to shave tonight before you go to work tomorrow.
We should have done hair and makeup.
Yeah, we should have. Sorry.
Darn.
That was on his rider. We had a big talk about him being a diva.
Oh yeah.
Limiting the rider. No more like green M&Ms and things like that.
I know. I can't do it anymore. I've been canceled.
Yeah. So Mare, the last we saw her, she planted drugs in, or she got caught planting drugs in her grandson Drew's mother's like car. Little 2 baggies of little heroin. And so she got removed from the force. She's like on leave, and the story is that she had a mental break, right? That this is what they're telling everybody, is that all of the stress of her work and her son committing suicide and like the Katie Bailey case, is that was too much for her, and she
Honestly, it kind of was a mental break if you think about it. Like getting to the point where you're planting drugs.
I think that, I guess that comes from desperation, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah, it
there was
does.
desperation too, because she
Like,
was
it's
scared
not
that
obvious,
Drew
but
was
it's
gonna.
There.
Yeah, she was gonna lose custody of her grandson. But she's on leave now, so she tells her family about that, and her freaking grandmother, her mother is like fucking hilarious in the show. I love her. I wish.
I really do.
What
like
is her
a lot.
name? Do we have a name?
Mayor's mom.
Mayor's. I should have wrote it down. I'm so sorry.
We shut up.
Mayor's
What is up with us?
I have not memorized it yet. So.
But she is hilarious
She is
in this
freaking
episode.
hilarious.
Well, and
And
honestly,
she-
she's hilarious in every episode.
Well, and I also love that she kind of like will tell Mare when she's being a little idiotic shit, you know? Like they
Yeah.
have this relationship that I totally see me and my mother having, where we kind of just like tell each other, like there's one part where she's like, fuck you, and It's not good, but I could see myself doing
Well,
that.
well, the hilarious part with her in this episode
Yeah.
is one, like, I think she's cooking or something. She takes out like a bag of like frozen vegetables, but then pulls a
ice
Haagen-Dazs out of there, looking around, and
She is the mood of the mood of Easttown.
and then someone knocks on the door. She sends them downstairs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with gosh, how do you pronounce her name?
Siobhan?
Siobhan.
Yeah. So, well, speaking of Siobhan, so Siobhan also during this family meeting admits that she has broken up with her girlfriend Becca, and so they all kind of comfort her. Mare comforts her, but then like later, because we're not going to go in order for this. Later, Siobhan is because Siobhan's got a new thing with this new girl.
She's out on a date with an older woman.
Yeah, she's on a date, and so she brings this girl over into her basement, and they're making out. And whilst they're making out, Becca has come over, unbeknownst to Siobhan, and
To wait for her.
And the grandmother. Well, we need her name. We'll start looking up that name while I'm talking about it, because we need to say her name. She lets Becca in and tells her to go down to the basement and wait there. And Becca sees Siobhan making out with this other girl, screams bloody murder, and takes off running. Mayor's mom hears it and goes downstairs, and as Becca's like running out of this fucking Helen. Okay, so Helen's like at the door, and as Becca's like running out of the door, she like fucking hits Helen.
I thought she was gonna die. I thought she was gonna die.
I didn't think she was gonna die, but I was shocked. So this is like one of these moments of like really black humor that this show carries. And I really appreciate black humor, by the way, because it's like funny and you like want to laugh, but it's also it's clearly like disoriented and like clearly fucked her up for a minute.
Yes.
And so it's like scary, but it's also like she got fucking like just.
I was super scared. It was hilarious, but I was also super scared for her. And you see how the ambulance come up, and then Mare is obviously worried. She comes up and she looks at her mom. She's like, "Is that it?"
That was the funny part. That was the funny part. Is like is Helen's being brought out on a gurney, and she has like one little Band-Aid on her head, and Mare comes running up, and she's thinking like that it sounded so bad on the phone because they called her and told her to come home, and she looks at her mom's like, she said, "Oh, is that it? Oh, okay."
She's like, "Well, I'm sorry that I'm all mangled."
She said, "I'm sorry, I'm not maimed."
Yeah. It's just hilarious.
They're fucking great. I love their family dynamic. I just love it. I love it. A little bit more serious. Dawn Bailey, the mother of the missing girl Katie Bailey, starts to get calls also, right? And so this part broke my heart because I hear a lot of true crime stories going like this, where you have the family member who starts getting calls from somebody, because for some fucking reason there are people out there who just want to fuck with a family who's already been through enough and tell them that they know where their daughter is, or they have tips for the daughter, or they know where their missing loved one is. And so
I knew it was a scam.
I did too.
But I think she knew it too, but she wanted to hope.
Well, she had to hold out hope.
Yeah.
Like that was her. She has like an undying devotion to her daughter, and so she wants to find her daughter, even though she knows it's a scam. The voice tells her that the person tells her they want $5,000 and they will tell her where Katie is. And so she like has this whole dilemma, this whole episode about like stealing money from
her job, at the gas station,
and like she's like very close to stealing the money, and she tells her friend about this, Beth, and she tells Beth about this, but she ultimately doesn't steal the money. She shoves like a bunch of coupons into.
No, it was the missing things.
Were they missing posters?
Yeah, she cut them up into like dollar-sized stuff.
Oh, okay. So
and she had Beth babysit for her her. I think it's her grandchild. I think it was Aaron Bailey's kid, and she goes, and it's creepy, like the directions that she's getting. I kept on thinking she's about to get murdered.
I thought she was, because she drives out to these she gets like directions to go out into like the middle of nowhere into this farmhouse, and she goes into this farmhouse and somebody comes up behind her and basically is just trying to rob her, and it's Freddy. So we have Freddy come back from the I think he's been in a couple episodes since then too, but like their story hasn't really been explored. So Freddy was the drug addict in the first episode, and his sister is Beth, and so Freddy was stealing from Beth in the first episode. We kind of talked about this yesterday, but Freddy has now like come up because this addiction is really getting him, and like really like fucks her up a little bit and like tries to take this money, and like he says, he opens it and sees there's no money in it, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Beth," or or I'm sorry, Dawn, and like he runs and like it's just.
It's also like how crazy that he'll go that far
for her. My heart broke for her because she knew it was a scam, and it was like, at least she didn't bring the $5,000 fucking.
Well, and the thing is, she doesn't tell Beth.
She doesn't tell Beth that her brother did that.
Because she already knows that Beth has so much grief and trauma just about that surrounding her brother.
Because Freddie's living with Beth again.
And I actually really like their friendship. I like Beth and Dawn's friendship a lot. I like
all of their friendships in this. I think all of the characters are very well realized in this town. Everybody in this town looks like very tired too, which I think kind of lends itself to the atmosphere of the town and how
Frederick Bachman's A Bear Town.
Yeah,
it's my second time recommending it.
Oh my gosh! Okay. We also have Colin, who is my lovely bae, Evan Peters. Evan Peters
Mephisto.
He has serial killer eyes, and I do love a man with some serial killer eyes.
Or he might be Quicksilver. Who knows? Maybe coming from X-Men.
Yeah.
I
like some crazy eyes.
He does have crazy eyes.
You have crazy eyes. This is one of the things that drew me to you. You have crazy eyes.
Hungry eyes. I don't know that
song. But he questions Deacon Burton, because they kind of found out that Deacon Burton had another charge or like an accusation against him that he had
relations with a 14-year-old girl.
Yes, at his previous parish, and so he goes
which is extremely suspect. I will say that's extremely suspect.
The previous episode, right, that Deacon Burton actually got rid of the bike. So Deacon Burton did have Aaron's bike.
Right now, he seems like the number one suspect.
Kind of.
That's
right?
what I would say.
I'm thinking every episode is like a new suspect for me, though. So I'm thinking right now he seems like super obviously a suspect, but then I feel like the show is gonna like slap me with like some twist.
Well, and then you have like you have Brianna and you have like Dylan.
Oh gosh, Brianna and Dylan, I cannot fucking stand them. I'm ready for them.
Yeah, I don't like them at all either.
I cannot stand them. Is this the episode where the first three in this one are getting kind of muddled for me? Is this the one where he takes care of the baby, or he wants them to get rid of the baby or something like that? Because they're doing paternity tests now.
And then like he holds the baby for a second.
They find out that he's not the father of the baby.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, they're still trying to figure out who is the father of the baby.
Yeah.
I mean, there seems to be a lot of candidates, honestly.
It's not Frank either, though. And so Frank has said that that he was just helping Aaron out.
Honestly, everybody...
I believe it, though.
Yeah, I believe it, too. But honestly, everybody just keeps on being suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody keeps on being super suspicious.
Well, also, I don't know. See, like, I think Deacon Burton, but I also really think it might be just somebody random, and we're probably going to end the season without knowing
it's going to be
at all.
Guy Pearce. I'm looking at the cast list, and the Guy Pearce guy, he doesn't have a name right next to him.
Mayor discovers that Aaron was escorting. She had an escorting site on, like, I don't remember what the website was called, but she was named Jasmine. This reminded me of like one time me and Jess got really drunk and sat on my front porch during the day and made her like, we kept forgetting the login information, but we like made her like 3 different escorting, or not escorting, it was sugar daddy accounts or whatever, so sugar baby or something like that. We made her like 3 different sugar baby accounts. We kept forgetting all of the login information. It was stupid. Yeah, and then there's a girl named Missy. She's kidnapped, and at the very end we see that Katie Bailey is still alive.
I know, she says it like James Bond.
I know, she comes out of the shadows and she's like, I'm Katie Bailey.
No, she said, I'm Katie.
I'm Katie.
Katie Bailey.
Katie Bailey.
And I freaked out. I was like, what is going on here?
That's where we are, is this cliffhanger. And we're like, shit. Now we got to
these twists and turns.
We could have finished the whole show, but we're trying to do like an episode a day up until Friday.
I know. I'm not liking that. I'm not liking that. I am a straight up binger. I'm not going to be shy about it. I binge.
Yeah.
And I love it.
So, yeah, I mean, I also think like Dylan could be involved in it.
I don't know. It might not even just be one person or one person's fault. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Very true. Very true. Yep. I don't know. It was a really good episode. Not the best episode, but it was good.
So tomorrow we're covering
Episode 5.
5, and then 6, and then finale.
Yes. I'm trying to get my mom to catch up to us, and then she'll come on for an episode. She'll kind of discuss it with us.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, I thought it was a good episode though. So like basically, like Mare didn't have a whole lot to do, but she was still kind of like involved in the investigation, even though she's not really supposed to. And then Colin asks her out too. Colin asks Mare out on a date. He kind of asks her out. He's like, I know this restaurant when they're outside of Aaron's
I
friend's
was surprised
apartment.
about that. I was definitely surprised.
I am feeling it. Go for that cougar. Come on.
Well,
Get
yeah.
it. I would go for Kate Winslet.
I would
No.
I would be very good friends with her. Like,
Yeah.
I'd go for being her friend.
There you go. And then what else? I mean, I feel like the investigation didn't go a whole lot of places in this one. She found out that she's an escort.
She's suspended.
Yeah, she found out she's an escort. She also found out that Aaron has journals in her house, but she goes to check.
She can't find them.
She found like little things where the journals, where her friend told her that the journals were, and she went and they're gone. And so, I don't know. I think that also like makes me think though that it was the dad. That Aaron's dad had something to do with it, and that's why the journals are gone, because the dad knew what the journals were. Maybe he found them one day and found some shit that Aaron. I think the dad was abusing Aaron. And I think it was in an inappropriate relationship, and I think I'm kind of there. I think I've arrived at that point.
I think he wasn't a good dad, but I don't necessarily think that made him a.
Well, folks, our
battery went out.
The battery on the camera went out, so you're just listening to us now. But yes, I do think there was something inappropriate with Aaron and her dad. I think her dad probably abused her in a very, very inappropriate way, and I think I'm wondering if the baby's even the dad's.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think that he was definitely not the best dad, but I don't necessarily think that equates to him being a murderer / rapist or sexual assaulter. We'll see.
What's the word
possibly
what's
an
the
assaulter.
word for like incest, like pedophile, rapist? What, I don't know if there's a word for all of that encompassed, but pretty much all of that, and that's where I'm thinking he is. But I guess we'll find out. So we're gonna go into episode 5 tomorrow. We'll kind of end it here. We hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, and
have a good night or good day. Sorry, have a good day.
Have your coffee and tequila. We need like a sign out or something.
Have your coffee and
tequila. Shaking my ass to the early morning. Don't bump and get stoned. Bump till the end dawn, and just woke up and it's early morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.